The Sputnik vaccine, there's a lot of talk about it because the EMA is conducting a review of it. And we both saw an interview with Kirill Dmitriev, the CEO of the company that makes Sputnik V. And he sat down with CNN's Becky Anderson to talk about their vaccine and its standing around the world. Now, what he had said was that they approached Operation Warp Speed last July in America, Trump's Operation Warp Speed, and said, look, we've got this vaccine that we reckon works. Are you interested? And after a few days, they got a polite no, and how different things would have been in America if they'd bothered with that cooperation. But I suppose with all the stink around Trump and Russia, there mightn't have been an appetite for that kind of cooperation. Anyway, let's hear a little clip of that interview.
So what about the US under a Biden administration? Because last August, when you reached out to the head of the Warp Speed operation, that was under the former Donald Trump administration. So have you spoken to the new US administration?
Not yet on this issue, but we see very interesting steps that they're doing. For example, the idea of having Merck produce some of the vaccines for Johnson & Johnson. And by the way, Johnson & Johnson is very similar technology to Sputnik. Essentially, it's our first shot, adenovirus 26. So we see an approach that they're doing to vaccines, and we believe that, by the way, Sputnik shot can be a booster shot for many of the US vaccines, for many of the European vaccines, and that's very important in fighting mutations. So no approaches from us yet, except in Twitter. We put a little comment to Moderna and to Pfizer. We said, open your eyes to Sputnik, and we put a nice song, open your eyes, so maybe they look at our Twitter account and we can start working together at some point.
So, Luke, you are a fan of this vaccine because it's in lots of people's arms and it appears to be working.
Exactly, and as you said, Pat, the first shot of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is almost identical to the Sputnik first shot. There's hardly any difference between them, you see. So in many ways, it's a replica, or maybe Johnson & Johnson is a replica of Sputnik because Sputnik got there first, So, and then the evidence they've published and released, it's an extremely efficacious vaccine. And they would get the credit probably, Pat, for the first vaccine, kind of, in that they got there pretty quickly. As you said, last July, he was ringing up the Trump administration. So, and it's been approved in over 30 countries already, you see. So they've deemed it to be safe. Now, the EMA have said, wait, because certain countries, remember, in Europe could order that vaccine now. If Hungary's ordered it, for instance, so Ireland could order some Sputnik V, I guess, if we wanted to. It wouldn't be against the rules in Europe to do it. But the EMA have said, no, hang on, wait till we have a good look at all the data, just in case. But I'm pretty certain they're going to approve it, Yeah. And then remember,
you don't have to use it. You can order it, and then as soon as you get the nod, because I'm not sure about the storage of this. I presume it's like Johnson & Johnson. It's pretty stable, so you could hang on to it. You get supplies in and hold on to it until the EMA gives it the nod, and then off you go at a gallop.
Yeah. If I was the Irish government, but I'd be aggressively looking for extra vaccine supply, because we keep hearing every day about delays, don't we, and issues around the supply. So why not be a bit punchy and approach Sputnik V and say, look, would you mind could we have some vaccine? They're making lots of it. I mean, again, they might restrict it to certain countries. They've done deals already with other countries. Argentina, for instance, have a big supply of Sputnik V. Russia itself, by the way, a lot of people to be vaccinated there. So, but it is, it's another vaccine in the mix. As we know, it's yet another one to use. And it could be used as a booster, remember. And AstraZeneca at the moment are running a trial with their vaccine first, followed by a Sputnik V booster. And they're predicting it might be even better than their combination trial, you see. So lots of work is going on into that vaccine as we speak.
Yeah, and a German company has negotiated, I think, with Sputnik V to manufacture the vaccine in Germany.
Someone, after we said that, Pat, somebody sent me a message. They're actually a Russian offshoot. They're actually a Russian company in Germany, I think. They aren't actually German domiciled, but still they are in Germany, and they're now going to make it, I guess, and make it available to the European Union if the EMA approves it.
Yeah, you'd wonder, given that we have a lot of big pharma in Ireland, and whether there's any capacity there. The way the Americans negotiated, was it with Merck to make the J&J extra supplies of it? So maybe it's not beyond the wit of people in government to try something like that here.
Well, I'd be banging down the doors, Pat, wouldn't you? I mean, this is the most important thing to get right in the coming 2, 3, 4 months. If supply is an issue, any government should be looking to boost supply in whatever way they can. And it isn't against the rules of the European Union to go to a company directly, you see, and try to get extra supply off them. So if I was the Taoiseach, I'd be sending the troops to bang on the door of all the companies now. There's 9 vaccines available. The 2 Chinese ones, by the way, Pat, are also looking great. And again, being used very widely now, So again, you could see us getting some of those potentially into the country as well. And then remember, the goal, Pat, is to vaccinate everybody as quickly as we can. So I'd be seriously looking at other ways of getting more vaccine supply in.